We're moving forward, always forward, forward, onward, onward, over, through, whatever it takes to get the job done. So today we're still looking at our short stories essay, and we've just taken a look at how to build out our introduction correctly. So now we're moving into the first main body paragraph. Now you'll remember from our thesis statement, we always kind of, if we're writing an essay and you've finished your introduction, the very next thing you should do is take a break, go for a walk, go to the forest, do some meditation or some box breathing, and reset your mind. When you come back, read your thesis statement again, because that thesis statement is your purpose. It's going to tell you, I've got to do this. This is my job. So let's read the thesis. Thus, Daimler's After a While and Finlayson's The Legend of Old Mossy will be delved to show how literature grows learning. So that's the core purpose. First half. Moreover, the analysis process will utilize the negotiated BATS literary paradigm to provide 3 layers of proof. So I'm going to show how literature grows learning, and I'll do it through our BATS paradigm. Basic, advanced, thematic, and supplemental. Now let's look at the areas of proof. Characters and conflict, comma, metaphors and similes, comma, and themes of truth balanced by insightful ironies. So main body paragraph 1 will be characters and conflicts, 2, metaphors and similes, 3, themes of truth balanced by ironies. Now, remember, for this short story essay, one of your paragraphs must look at the alpha window. We have 4 windows in our BATS tool, right? In our BATS reading tool. So it's up to you to choose which of those windows you feel like you can discuss effectively to prove your thesis. But that being said, you have to include the alpha window. Okay, excellent. So we've reminded ourselves. Now let's look at the existing work. So always you're going to start your main body paragraph, and you can see I've kind of given myself a operational number for my word window. That's what I'm aiming for, somewhere between 200 and 250. Remember, the length of this essay should be around 1,100 words. So we've kind of set our word windows to help us reach that goal. And you'll notice on our data tracker, we always have that word window at the beginning of each section. You'll notice I haven't done the whole thing yet, so I'm working through this process just like you guys are. But I will do these little videos once I finish each section. I do the writing first, and then I take a look at what's happened. I give myself soak time, and then boom, come back and do a little video to show you my processes. So we always want to start with a topic sentence, main body paragraph structure. We want a clear topic sentence. Then you're going to have 2 to 4 of our triads of support. Just a reminder, those triads are the correct writing tool, and they're always going to be built the same way. They've got idea sentences leading into citation sentences, leading into explanation of these points, right? Your discussion, your relevance piece. Now, because we're doing an interesting job here with this short stories essay, we're looking at 2 short stories together, our triads will change a little bit, because you have to have like a triad for our first story and then a triad for our second story. But theoretically, those 2 will be on the same point. Like if you're talking about characters, first you'll have a triad to talk about the characters in story 1, then a triad to talk about the stories in character 2. So that's 2 triads right there. So we'll have to kind of look at how the writer has done this. Okay, topic sentence. To start a clear investigation of After a While and The Legend of Old Mossy, henceforth Old Mossy, characters and conflicts are the logical place. So you can see that I started with a starter A, right? A 2 verb moving into a noun phrase. Something interesting going on here. The writer has chosen to organize this a little bit dodgy structure. As the editor, I've highlighted in yellow. I would talk to the writer later saying, yeah, we need to simplify this. So we'll look at how that might happen. But then we'll see, how does it develop? So to start a clear investigation of our stories, characters and conflicts are the logical place. So that's where we should start. Semicolon. How are the characters displayed? And what do the conflicts teach the audience about truth and growth? So there again, we'll notice this is really important. we've got characters and conflicts. So those are the points that I stated in my thesis that main body paragraph 1 would look at. And then we've got teach the audience about truth and growth. So again, that connects it back to the thesis statement. So you notice my topic sentence creates that direct bridge back to my thesis. So now I'm moving into my triads. And you'll notice that as I'm going, I'm tracking the words of each little micro section, and that I break it up, right? So here we have our topic sentence section, then we have the topic sentence over here. So this left-hand window over here in our data tracker is helping us organize the pieces we need to effectively complete the task of writing this essay. So then here we're moving into triad 1, so you'll notice I've marked over here triad 1. That topic sentence, I've captured how many words it is. Now you can do that by just grabbing the chunk of writing with your cursor and then highlighting it. And you'll notice down here in the bottom corner, it tells us that this is 42 words of, so far we have 1348, but that's the entire document with all of its details. And you'll notice that if you go all the way down, I've started to move the pieces of so I've got my introduction paragraph and then also my first main body paragraph. I've moved them down into a kind of a complete draft so that later, when I'm done with the data tracker, I can just copy and paste the whole essay into a new document if I want, or if my teacher's okay with it, I can just save it as it is and submit it like this. I personally like to give my students a template to work from, and then that shows me their process, and that shows me that they're using our tools to develop their skills. So you get credit for doing the work following our processes, just like you get credit for your final product. The processes are as important, if not more important, than the final product itself. Okay, triad 1. In Dyma Lines 2017 family story, comma, Lucky and Arnya had a clear connection, although there were tensions poised under the surface. And so here you can notice I've indicated the page, but I didn't go back and check the story yet because I've already done my reading. I've already collected my active reading notes, so I know what I want to say, but I wasn't detailed enough in my active reading notes, so I didn't collect the page number for this point of support. I'll have to go back later to the story and double check. But if I'm in the process of writing and I don't want to slow down or stop, I can just put the page number, the marker there, the little hashtag there, to indicate to myself I need to go back and get this later. That allows me to keep working, to keep moving forward. Okay, the connection and longing that Lucky feels for her neglectful mother highlights the trauma that displaced humans can feel. Arnya is struggling to cope with her own restless nature, and this behavior is being reflected forward to her daughter as well. So this section here is basically my explanation of the citation. So you can see that I've done my citation, and now I've got my analysis. So here, let's see, do I do the job? Now I'm shifting gears, and I'm going to talk about my second story. Conversely, old Mossy, the huge and angry grizzly bear, feels zero connection to the loggers, and a fight quickly ensues when the bear raids the loggers' chow house. So then I've got my citation, and I actually did grab the page numbers from that story. A battle between the loggers and the bear erupts, with the grizzly slashing the loggers while they shoot him several times. Clearly, the second author builds a message of humanity warring with nature. So that's my first triad, and you'll notice that because we're kind of calling that whole thing triad 1, but because of the ask of this essay, because I'm being asked to look at two stories together and find ways that they are on the same page and ways that they are different, you have to kind of stack those triads together, kind of stacking our citation support. It's basically an augmented triad because we have two citations within the same position, right? And the position is talking about the characters. So we've developed that first piece. How do characters show us something important? All right, we'll stop there. Excellent work, everybody. You can take a look at everything we've got so far, and I will keep building out the resources as the day advances.